Well, that was a hell of a journey. Hi guys, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm Jonathan Garcia, and this is part 2 of the 2024 World Championships kind of recap that I'm doing. The first video is already posted, mainly just kind of travel and some of my little experiences journeying all the way to from the States to Lithuania. So here is what everybody's probably waiting for, is the meet recap. I'm going to be brutally honest all throughout this video. I don't see any reason to hold anything back. I'm going to be very upfront about where things went wrong, where things went right, and kind of everything that went all in. Just want to say that it was a definite battle between me and the other two guys. We definitely put all of our effort, all of our heart into this competition, and it really showed. I mean, it was a very historic battle. I wish that I could say that it was like the best battle possible, but you know, chips fell where they fell because guys were lifting and missing, so it was very much kind of like a weird battle. It was definitely like a battle of attrition and like who was going to end up on top. So again, very crazy kind of ending with all three lifters, the top three lifters totaling the exact same amount, and it really coming down to body weight. It really could have been any lifter's day. It wasn't my day, unfortunately. I really thought it was. I went in thinking it was, and that's neither here nor there. We're going to get into the competition. We're going to get into the mindset. We're going to get into the lifts, and I'm going to try to give a breakdown of each individual lift where I think it's necessary. If I'm missing anything and you guys want to know a little bit more of like, oh, tell me more about your mindset or what happened on this specific one, let me know, guys, in the comment section below, and I'd be more than happy to address that question specifically. I really debated for a long time whether or not I was going to even do this video. It was very mentally challenging to me to come back and, you know, put on my best face and kind of have the courage to hop back in front of the camera, and even the courage to hop back in the gym, really, because for all intents and purposes, my mindset going into this world championship was this was for sure going to be my last world championship, like you guys saw in the travel video. I was definitely going in with the mindset, let's be world champion for once and for all. This is our year, coming off an amazing run from the Nationals in Reno a couple months ago in March to, you know, riding that wave, and then obviously having that injury, that abductor tear that really kind of threw training into a bit of a weird place where I wasn't extremely confident like I should have been on my lifts, and that affected the game plan a little bit going into Worlds. And but anyways, let's go ahead and get into the videos. Guys, thanks so much for watching. It really means a lot that you guys take the time out of your day and watch these videos. I love to do them. I think they're just fun. It's a neat little hobby, and a big reason why I do these as well is because, you know, one day I'll look back on these videos and I'll be able to see, you know, my younger, healthier self, and I like to kind of relive these moments. And God forbid something does happen to me, my son will be able to watch these, and he'll get to know my voice, and he'll get to know kind of like my mindset as an athlete and as a warrior and as a competitor, and kind of maybe hopefully draw some inspiration and comfort from that. But enough talking, guys. Let's get into the video. Thanks for watching again. Everybody's welcome here. Thank you, guys. Just made weight. I was super under. I was 65.55, which is like almost a pound under. So we're just gonna weigh in. Here's the weight, like warm-up area. Mikey, Matt, of course, Arian, and we're just gonna chill. We got one flight ahead of us, and then we're gonna be lifting. So very excited, ready to win this motherfucker and finally break this world record and finally be fucking world champion.
The most heavily hyped sessions of this World Championships, the 66 kilo men's. Jonathan Garcia, 250 kilos for his opening squat. Jonathan, definitely the biggest squatter. He holds the world record. Unofficially holds the world record total. I mean unofficial because he did this at the American Nationals, and obviously you break world records at international events only.
3 white lights, a good lift, and a very strong start to the day, and a big contender for that overall.
Jonathan says this is his day.
12.5 kilo jump from that 250 opener. The 250 was tidy.
Wow. As smooth as his opener.
So I missed this lift due to jumping the start command. From my peripheral, I did see his hand go down and I did hear him say start, but it could have been a millisecond too fast and it cost me the lift.
2 to 1, it's good.
I believe he jumps the command.
World record holder is Jonathan Garcia. 262.5 was not a strength issue, it was a depth call.
Okay, wanted to hop on here again and kind of explain the thought process behind my attempt selection. So we actually had a team meeting, Matt, Gary, and Arian and me, about, I would say, a week before Lithuania, just talking about some of the different game plans and strategies that we could implement to secure the W. And one thing that was proposed to me, which ultimately we went with, was being very conservative on the squat. I don't know what kind of prompted that. I don't know if it was maybe a lack of faith on my squat ability post kind of that injury, even though my abductor, going through physical therapy, working with some really great people, kind of got me back to where I needed to be a lot quicker. I still felt a little tightness, but there was absolutely no pain. And a week before, like my last heaviest squat, and I'll post that like right now. Was, I believe, 280. It was definitely RPE 10. It was a struggle. That was after a 12-hour day at work, all day in the sun. So I felt like on the day that would be a very easy ask. But you know, my area and my coach was really stressing just kind of getting 3 for 3, doing maybe even a more conservative weight on the squat. That way we could obviously hit that 90-degree depth, which can be an issue for me on judging. I normally get like the right side calling the red light for depth, but you know, we didn't want it to go to like a situation where we had to be like, hey, let's fight at the jury, which ultimately, besides my first lift, I still got 1 red each lift, and I think it was from, believe it or not, the middle judge, which is typically weird because you could definitely see on the playback, definitely from the front, that it's definitely 90 degrees, that my butt is below the bend in my knee. But either way, so, you know, I had got convinced to be a little bit more conservative, which was, in hindsight, maybe I should have pushed back a little bit. I definitely wanted to do more on the squat, but, you know, at that time, that kind of thinking made a little sense, and I just kind of went with it. But I couldn't help but feeling a little bit like walking up to the platform to do my last squat, that I was leaving too much out there. I felt really frustrated, and I felt even more frustration actually getting the last squat with almost 0 effort, because I'm like, fuck, this is too damn light to be my third. Missing my second, post the competition, speaking with my coaches, they were like, you know, a little worried, well, if Jonathan misses his third, it will even be further back from winning. So I can see the thought process behind that holistically, but again, I just remember coming out the hole on that squat, just feeling very, very frustrated, because it felt the easiest and lightest out of all my squats. It felt lighter than the 250, it felt lighter than my second, and I just remember walking off the platform being super frustrated that we had left so many kilos, because ultimately, obviously, it cost me the win. So that's the truth behind that third squat. I will never be in a position again where I will feel that way. Regardless, like in the future, if I have to go against my coach's wishes, if I'm the lifter and feeling that way and I'm feeling confident in myself, I'm going to make that change. So a little disappointing, because ultimately it cost me the W, but let's go ahead and get forward watching the rest of the meet, because it is a good meet. But I definitely wanted to hop on here and just kind of explain that third squat and why we went so light when obviously I can squat so much more.
And an overturned one at that. 270, historically speaking, is totally within his means. I like that Team USA went up anyways. You said you agreed.
Yeah.
Now he's got to make it count. Looks good. The squat depth on me. 2 to 1.
And I think he's safe with it.
And that is huge for Jonathan Garcia in Team USA. Squat gold is massive for his aspirations of a world. In 60 kilos for USA's Jonathan Garcia. He's got a monster bench press on him.
3 white lights, a good lift. Strong start.
Risky. Jonathan Garcia, 170. 10 kilo jump for the American. This should be no major ask for Jonathan. I've seen him hit well beyond this. The 160 was more energy conservation on Team USA's part. Get him on the board.
That puts him in a great position to add.
Battle these young men are putting on. And here's Jonathan Garcia, 177.5. He's hit this before, coming in as the #1 nomination.
I would be remiss if I didn't hop on here and talk about the third bench. Now, the third bench felt really, really light doing it, but heading into the bench, this is the most I've benched in quite some time, and to my knowledge, it's actually a little bit above my current national record too, in the Powerlifting America Federation. So I think if I'm not mistaken, my national record is 173.5. So this was a little bit more than that. So that was quite exciting to do a little bit more than that. And this was, again, the most I've done in a while. But with the abductor tear, you know, we had about 2.5 weeks where we really couldn't do any lower body. So we were really focusing in and hammering in on the actual bench and just refining. And you know, when you are injured, you still want to train, but you have to train hard on the things that don't cause any pain.
The unofficial world record holder.
And there it is. It looks good, and it is 3 white lights.
3 white lights. It is so close. As we take a look at the bench press, Jonathan Garcia will kick us off the fast charge of the rest of the pack on subtotal. He's got 25 kilo advantage. That was, that's going to be costly.
Now the question is, he is in contention first. He needs to get a deadlift on the board, but if he doesn't go up, he might fall behind Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, if he retakes his weight, the jump. Earlier this year, his son was born prematurely and bedside in the children's hospital, not sure if his son would make it, promised his son he would win the world title for him, looked at the calendar for the IPF Worlds a couple months later, and the World Championship will be contested on his son's first birthday and also on their first Father's Day. Let that story I just told you sink in as you watch him pull 260 to put himself in position for a 707.5 total. Destiny awaits, does it, Jonathan?
There it is, 3 white lights. The risk paid off.
0.5 to 712.5. He has a lead, but only on body weight with Penno. This is a world record total if he can hit this, 712.5. Oh, can he hang on? He's still in the lead. He's still in the lead on body weight. All
right, guys, the moment I've absolutely been dreading is talking about, you know, that last deadlift. Again, you know, with the injury that we had, there was about a 2.5 week period where we couldn't work any deadlift without having just that pain. The abductor tear was very high in my groin area, and definitely wouldn't wish that pain or injury on anyone. It's a very harsh, immediate kind of pain. But anyways, no excuses. You know, working hook grip is one of the things that, you know, the awesome thing about hook grip is that obviously the grip is always going to be there, but you have to constantly hammer it. Deadlifts weren't something that I was feeling super confident going in, if I'm being honest. They were my least favorite, and the frustration building from the squat only amplified going further into the meet, because now being where I was at, you know, I did out squat everybody, I did out bench everybody, but I knew the deadlifts that they were capable of were gonna. I wasn't far enough ahead to where I was out of the red zone, the danger zone. You know, if for me, and my thought process was, I needed to win this competition by a landslide by the second deadlift in order for me to win. Like, because I knew that deadlift may not be there that day when I needed it. I was actually very shocked. So if you guys noticed that first deadlift, I kind of rocked forward. That's never really happened to me before. The platform that we lifted on was a little squishy. It had like the carpet had some kind of like padding underneath it that kind of threw me off, that the backstage didn't have, and definitely here in my garage gym doesn't have. So that was a little odd. It made the adjustments on the second lift. That was absolutely fine. But on the second deadlift coming up, I felt my grip sliding a little bit. And I went back there, and that's the first thing I told my coaches when I got off the platform. I said, man, that my grip felt like shit on that second one. And they were like, okay, thanks for letting us know. But where we needed to be, I needed that third deadlift. You know, it's one of those split like second decisions that you need to make with your coach. And obviously, I had Arian, I had Matt Gary there. They're deliberating really quickly. Again, hindsight's 2020. I feel like this is the theme of this video. You know, I should have been like, hey, let's just add like a little bit, because that was pretty like, you know, top end for me. It didn't feel heavy, but the damn grip was really wearing on me. I probably couldn't have held that for another 2 or 3 seconds if they made me. It was slipping already. I did make that apparent to the judges, like I mentioned, or to my coaches, sorry. But you know, we needed that last lift anyways to secure the W. We would break the world record. And let me tell you guys, when I say that I have relived that last deadlift a million times, 100 million times in my head, you know, the weight coming off the floor was really easy. It's just the grip, and I felt it slipping, and I wanted to pull, I wanted to crank, I wanted to hold it, and it just came right on out. And you know, along with missing that weight, I knew that I was gonna, you know, I wasn't gonna be world champion. And walking backstage, it was extremely difficult with lifting going on around me, to determine who the winner of our weight class was going to be, and me just be done, be out of lifts, be out of tries, be out of attempts. That was a very difficult 5-10 minutes for me. Definitely not like obviously like the hardest of my life, but that mentally I've relived that a million times, and it hasn't gotten any easier. That's something that I'm going to carry for a very long time. That frustration, that anger, that I should have, I could have, I would have, you know. You know, and then when I think about my son, and I think about, you know, what I wanted to do and what this meet meant for me, it hurts. It still hurts my heart, you know. And I don't know how to feel about it. There's days where I'm like, hey, let's get on the high horse and let's continue, you know. And there's some days where I just feel really beat down and beat to shit. And I'd love to come on here and maybe lie and say that, you know, oh, it's, you know, train hard and we'll get it next time. But it's not always like that, you know. So what I allowed myself to do was feel like throw myself a pity party of one. And I told myself I was going to give myself a week to just feel like shit, you know, feel those emotions, because those emotions are real. So whenever we don't face our emotions and face our feelings like head on, you know, they grow in the background and they grow in our heart and they fester. So I was like, I'm going to feel like crap for the next week. I'm going to blame myself. I'm going to say that I should have worked through the pain. I should have worked. I should have. But ultimately, get over it, you know. So give myself that pity party. Give myself 7 days of just feeling like I'm just the worst athlete in the world, you know. I'm not a badass. I'm not the fucking, you know, 2-time national champ. I don't have the world squat record. I don't have the fucking American national record for the weight class total. You know, I just felt like I wasn't the athlete that I am, and I think that's the weirdest thing, you know. But again, I said 7 days, and when we come back after this week, we're going to start training again. We're going to change the things that I can change. I'm going to do things differently. I'm going to work on things, and formulate a game plan to get back. You know, I did get invited to the World Games, and that's fine and dandy. And who knows, I might get invited to the Sheffield. I mean, my total was like 99.70 something percent of the world record. So I should get invited to the Sheffield, but it's a wild card, so like you never know. But if that doesn't happen, then obviously we'll be lifting again at nationals, and then the World Games, Worlds, and then the World Games in next year in China. And I'm definitely going to go to the World Games. For those that don't know, it's like the Olympics for non-Olympic sports, and this is the first time that raw powerlifting, so non-equipped lifters, are going to compete. So that's very exciting, and that very well may be my last competition. I don't know. I turned 36 in Lithuania, and I'm still getting stronger well into my 30s. The main thing about retirement was just, you know, working out for fun, so that way I could maybe, if I wanted to spend more time with my family, or we had like a trip planned or something like that, I could do that. Because right now, so much of my life revolves around training. And while I love training, I also love my family, and I want to spend more time with them. I want to spend more time with my teenager. I want to spend more time with my baby boy. I want to spend more time with my fiance. But, you know, again, I wouldn't be in the position I am, or the athlete that I am, if it wasn't for my supportive family, you know. Especially, you know, obviously my fiance Jessica is, you know, very, very, very understanding. I know that sometimes it can get in the way of plans, it can get in the way of the family time, but, you know, she understands how important this all is to me, and these goals that I have set up for my life that I really, really want to achieve, and definitely being world champion is one of them. So we're gonna go for it again. You know, my pity party's over. I'm ready to start the process all over again. For the past 3 years, I've actually been doing, believe it or not, Juggernaut Training AI app for my workouts, and I want to do a full separate video beyond this of how amazing that app is and how great it would be for starters and even high level elite powerlifters, because I have done no other training other than the Juggernaut AI, and that took me to 2 world championships and brought me 2 national championship titles for myself. So I'm going to be doing a full video on that, because I think that app and those guys behind that need the recognition, because that app is the truth and it's amazing. But going forward, I'm going to be working with some new coaching, some new programming. I really think that not being handled or coached on meet day by the person that's also handling my training has been a big hindrance, because that person may not know my training intimately like I know it. So they may not have that confidence in me because they don't know my training. So having a coach on game day that is the coach that writes my workouts, I think that's something that I'm lacking, because it's not translating always perfectly to the platform. So that's something that I've already implemented and changed in my training. So I'm very both nervous and also excited to see where that's going to take me, to maybe newer heights and better performances on the platform, better communication, better trust between the athlete and the lifter, to see, hey, we know we can get this, let's do this, we did this in training, and so on and so forth. And that's pretty much it for that I have to say about that. So I'm going to be doing a full video on the Juggernaut Training AI. Look forward to that. I'm very excited. May not be my next video, but it's definitely coming down the pipeline. Other than the competition, you know, that's just something that, you know, I had to live with. I had to obviously live past that and just let it go. I didn't do the performance that I had promised everybody and promised myself, most importantly, that I was going to do. And I still have a debt to myself that I need to repay. And I'm going to work harder than I ever have, but also work smarter. And hopefully this new coaching strategy and this things that I'm kind of changing in my training is going to shine forth even more so on the platform. And that's all I have to say about that. You know, I went out on my shield. I went out and I did the most, I performed the best that I could do in that specific situation and in that moment. And I think at the end of the day, I could be proud of that. And anybody who fails by at least trying, I don't think it failed at all. I gave it my all. We made decisions that I was privy to and I agreed upon, and ultimately it left us a little short, and no pun intended. And we just need to come back from that. There's more work to do, and I'm not afraid of hard work. I never have been, and I'm ready to be back on the platform, and I'm very excited to have the opportunity and the health to continue doing what I love. And that's all I have to say about that. Again, guys, I want to say thank you so very much for watching the video. I know it's a little long-winded. There's a lot of kind of narration here, but I appreciate you guys so very much for watching the video. I appreciate every single fan that I have. I appreciate every single DM, every single message on Instagram, Facebook, wherever. You guys are awesome, and you guys are why I do these videos. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.